from the Mount Morris Digital Studio here in Fresno, California. This is the Beem and Dean Show, episode 84, with the teaser king of Fresno. The man, we'll explain a little later, the sports director at KC24, CBS 47, Scott Bemis. I'm Dean Shiro. Scotty, Indiana, national champions in college football. If I would have told you that 5 years ago, you would have been like, of course, right?
Right, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, just they're a football school, right?
They are, always have been.
Yeah, no, I mean, that is a program that is, and a school that is built on the success of their football program for years and years and years.
The pillars, yes.
Yeah, and they did it they were able to win it without a Keith Smart shot or an Isaiah Thomas jumper or Bobby Knight throwing a chair. So, amazing story.
How about that, though? What a great game, though, huh? I mean, honestly, what a great game. I mean, Miami played their tails off. Both teams have nothing to be ashamed of. If you're Mario Cristobal, you got to think the future is super bright. The playoffs I thought were really, really good. All 12, teams, all, 8 games or 10 games, whatever it was. Pretty amazing, right? I mean, what are your thoughts?
Well, we're only 2 years in, but I think this version of the playoff was much better than the first year's version of the playoff, just as far as the competitive nature of a lot of the games. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there's always going to be a few blowouts in the playoffs, so don't overreact like we've said before about those blowouts, especially early on. But yeah, the championship game was very compelling, very compelling. First off, just all the storylines, and it's compelling. It's the Susan Bemis test. That's what it is, right?
Okay.
That's the litmus test.
Please explain.
Well, when Susan Bemis is engaged in a football game, right? She's a sports fan, but it's kind of on usually, and she kind of checks in every now and then. She was fully engaged.
She was engrossed.
She was engrossed with what was going on, and it's because of the storylines, Dean. It was the Fernando Mendoza story with his parents and his mother.
Mom's got multiple sclerosis.
Exactly, and that had sucked her in, and she was into it. And so I think that's a great example of what makes sports great and why people gravitate towards sports, not only to play it, but to watch it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and those Miami guys, they played so hard. I mean, it was such a closely, close contest. It was 10-0 at the half. You kind of thought, oh my God, is this going to be a blowout? Yeah. And Miami really fought back in the second half, made it a really, really good game. Came down to the last, minute, and Carson Beck unfortunately throws an untimely interception. And congratulations to Kurt Signetti in Indiana. Oh my God. They're going to have a huge celebration in Bloomington on Saturday, parade, and then Memorial Stadium. It's going to be on the Big Ten Network. I'll be recording it. I just want to see it.
You're recording championship parades?
Yeah, I just want to see it. I want to see him say,
I love you, D. You're my favorite.
I want him to say, something like, check my Twitter, or check my, whatever did he say? What did he say? Check my, on his credentials, like when he became the Indiana coach.
Oh, are you talking about the speech at the basketball game?
Yeah, Google me or something like that, he said?
He might. I just remember the part where he said, what did he say? That Purdue sucks and so does Ohio State and Michigan.
Yeah, but no, I think he said, someone was asking, well, do you think your credentials are good enough to be here? He's like, just Google me. You'll see I'm a winner. So kudos to that. All right, with that being said, let's come in hot. All right, Scotty, we're going to the National Football League here really quick for coming in hot. Our first topic is the Buffalo Bills. I'll call it coaching saga, but it's a lot more than that, obviously. So they fired their coach, McDermott, over the weekend, and then the owner came out and made some pretty terse statements as well. I'll let you take over.
Yeah, first off, I want to be invited to that Indiana Hoosier DVR championship parade viewing party that's going on.
We'll get some screenshots. We'll send them to the viewers.
We'll pound some Diet Cokes and have some chips. And
it's supposed to be, by the way, 8 degrees is the high in Bloomington on Saturday, so it should be blustery.
Perfect.
Blustery.
Great basketball weather.
Exactly. Go ahead. You're up.
Coming in hot. Yeah, something we're hot about, a hot take, a hot topic. Well, I think the hot topic this week is when Terry Pegula got in front of the microphone, the Bills owner, and some of the things that he said. Kind of a sign, Dean, I think, that owners shouldn't make it a regular occurrence of getting in front of microphones. Sometimes they can say some things that go viral. What is it? Steve Bisciotti of the Ravens had a funny comment about Mike Tomlin possibly coaching his team and Harbaugh eventually coaching the Steelers. And I'm not saying that everything that Terry Pegula said was bad, but just he kind of lit a firestorm, didn't he? In a way?
He didn't hold anything back. Sometimes, you hear that stuff, let's keep this within, let's keep our problems within, company walls. He did not do that. He spit fired. So, I mean, honestly, it was kind of like the Jerry Jones school of ownership, I thought, Jerry's been over the years, very, out there with the media, making comments. So, but Pegula, I mean, he had some interesting things to say about the draft and McDermott in general. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, well, first off, I guess my hot take here too is with regards to the Sean McDermott situation, and I said it on the last show that if it was me and I'm the owner of the Buffalo Bills, I hang on to Sean McDermott for a couple reasons, and I explained them that they played well enough to win. In my opinion, he had them prepared to win that football game in Denver, and they had the pieces, and they, sometimes you don't win on the scoreboard, but you can tell. You probably should have won the game. And I know that's a crazy, I know fans don't like to hear that stuff because ultimately you're judged by the scoreboard. But to me, that team was prepared. They were ready. And the way the game played out, they probably should have won the game. In the NFL, sometimes games are decided by weird things. They're by a play here, a fourth down call here, a dual catch to the ground that turns into an interception, something like that.
A 2-point conversion that rolls to the guy and he picks it up because it's a lateral.
Right.
The Rams Seahawks earlier this year.
But the Bills have been on the dance floor every year in the playoffs, pretty much since Sean McDermott has been there. They aren't that far away, and I think when you're not that far away, it's a little different with the Ravens this year, who kind of fell off. I would say.
Yeah, they were like 1-6 to start or something like that. Yeah,
the Bills are still there. They've got the quarterback, and by all indications, the quarterback had a great relationship with the head coach, right? And so I don't know. I think it was too knee jerk for this reason as well. Dean, is that you've got a million coaching openings out there right now. And so it's not like you're one of 3 openings where you can kind of have the pick of the litter, whoever you want, right, to come into Buffalo. You may not get who you want to come into Buffalo.
Right.
You'll get somebody, obviously, at some point. But, John Harbaugh's already been scooped up.
Right.
Kevin Stefanski's already been scooped up. I know Mike Tomlin's still out there. I mean, there's other names that could eventually maybe land there. I'm not saying Tomlin's going there. But that's my point, is that kind of have a sense for what the market is as well.
Sure.
There's other factors that go in other than just, hey, let's get rid of him because we lost a playoff game, right? And his explanation, I think he was trying to kind of, give a proper explanation and say, oh, the tone of the team, the mood of the team, and I just couldn't stand to see them like that again. And so I felt like we needed to go in a different direction, talking about being in the locker room, walking around, and that Josh Allen's crying and he didn't talk. I walked by him and he didn't even kind of acknowledge me or whatever. But it came off kind of poorly, almost as if like he fired him, because they lost that game. But at the same time, he also said like that he thought, they should have won that game. So it's like, a reporter asked a great question where he said, well, if you thought that that the bad call was the reason you lost the game, and you fired Sean McDermott because you said you fired him because you lost the game, then why did you fire Sean McDermott? Yeah.
Right. Well, he went even deeper, though, Scott. He went into the draft and how they drafted Keon Coleman, the receiver from Florida State, and he didn't want him. He's on the team, Scott. You can't say that. He's an employee of your company,
right. Yeah.
And you're saying, I don't want him. I didn't want him. I wanted someone else. Like, you can't do that. That is just, oh, my God. I don't know how that can happen. I know you're the owner, but for Christ's sake, I mean, someone's got to be like, cut the mic,
Well, yeah, when you're talking publicly, right? Yeah. And
no, you're on the mic telling the everybody.
Yeah, I think sometimes these owners, right, they're used to, first off, they're the boss, right? So like no one really can question them, right? Because what they says goes, usually. And
we know that in the United States of America.
Right. And they come from the world of business,
right,
where they've been super successful usually, and that's why they're able to own an NFL team. And so things that they've said and done have probably worked, in some capacity. But it's a different landscape. It's kind of like politics, right? You know, like when you get in front of those microphones, it's usually a little different. There's a little different tone that you have to strike.
But also, one thing that you can say can affect everything. You can make one comment and it could affect the stock market, it could affect the futures market, it could affect the commodities market.
You sound like you're speaking from experience over there, Dean.
Yes, I testify. I am speaking from great experience there, Scotty. But like I said, one other thing I want to mention, I mentioned it also on Monday's show too, is that with Sean McDermott, the last thing he said at the podium as the Buffalo Bills head coach is, "Hey, I'm here fighting for Buffalo." Well, Buffalo didn't fight for him, so he must feel like really betrayed. But I have a feeling he could end up at an AFC rival here. You know, I mean, you've got the Ravens right down the street. You know, you never know. And then another thing, too, is just, you know, with the Bills, you just kind of wonder, like, is the fact that Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson didn't make the playoffs, you know, the reason why maybe McDermott got fired? Because everyone thought that Josh Allen had an instant, you know, to the AFC Championship game just because those two guys weren't there. Like, these other quarterbacks aren't that good. I can't tell you how many people I heard that from, you know, on the street. Like, well, he better get there this year because there's no Lamar and there's no Patrick Mahomes. Well, there's other quality quarterbacks in the National Football League. Just because, I mean, Trevor Lawrence is a quality quarterback. Bo Nix, quality quarterback. Just because Patrick and Lamar aren't there, that's the golden ticket for you to get there. Anyway.
Well, I said it before that you think about the odds that are actually in play for a team like Buffalo to make the Super Bowl.
Right.
Like, if you look at it mathematically from a Vegas perspective, and what qualifies as a big game? You know, the Jaguar game was the biggest game of the week. That was a big game. The Bills won it. Mm-hmm. Got some tough breaks. They lost the next week in the divisional round. If you look at it, in order to win a Super Bowl, the Bills were going to have to complete a 4-game parlay, which basically was a coin flip in every game, which...
on the road, too, Scotty.
If my math is correct, I believe that's around 12-1 or something like that. So they've got basically like a 1 in 10 chance mathematically of getting there. Now, I would probably give their chances a little better because you have Josh Allen and you have some playoff experience and everything. But that shows you the kind of odds that are in play, you know, to make a run. You need luck, you need talent, you need a lot of things to go your way, obviously.
Right.
And I don't know, I just feel like the Bills have been there, and they're close.
Yeah.
And I think look, they could make a change. It could work out. Somebody new could inject, you know, a new energy into the building. Maybe it works out.
It could.
But from my experience, more often than not, it goes in the other way than having success. Is that you kind of fall off a little bit because you had a guy that had built a culture and now he's gone.
Right. Yeah, no, I completely agree there. All right, let's get to our second topic really quick for coming in hot. Is a 24-team playoff on the horizon in college football? The deadline is tomorrow. If the commissioners do not agree, the 11 commissioners do not agree on a format by tomorrow, then we stay with 12. And I have a feeling that's where we're going because I don't see an agreement happening. They could either go with a 16-team playoff with guaranteeds or they can go with the 24. So I just wanted to kind of just touch on this really quick. I mean, I know how you feel. You know, you like the 12. I'd like to see 16. I think 24 is too many too, even though it'd be great. I mean, if you could get a lot of games on campus sites. But what are your thoughts really quick on this?
Yeah, just to be clear, I'm not like super strong against a 16-team playoff. I have no problem with the 12 because I like the fact that it kind of heightens the importance of the regular season. But if they went to 16 and they added another round of host site games, totally fine with it. You know, but 24, that's too many to me.
That's a lot.
It just feels like then the regular season is getting totally watered down. Like you said, I don't think it's going to happen because, you know, the SEC takes a lot of heat from non-SEC people all the time about things, right? And their arrogance a little bit sometimes.
Yeah.
This is one case where I'm glad the SEC is in that room because they seem to be the only commonsensical person in there who's kind of saying, hey, slow your roll, Big Ten, right? You know, we don't need a 24-team playoff at this point. It's really not going to benefit your conference that much. I mean, I think you're still...
Would it not benefit an SEC conference, though, where maybe a 7-5 team would get in?
Right, but my whole point is
that'd be the thing I'd want to see the most.
To me, the same proportionate number of schools are going to be getting in, right? It's already SEC and Big Ten dominated. I don't know. It just feels like this is a story that just doesn't need to be a story. Like, let's just wipe it away. No! We're not doing a 24-team playoff.
And that's final.
Let's just get rid of it. Fine if you want to go to 14. Fine if you want to go to 16. Fine if you want to keep it at 12. Right? You know, but no, 24, I'm done with it, you know?
That's the first storyline, though, I want to see. If they do go 24, my first storyline is, when will the first 7-5 team get in from the SEC? Because honestly, we had the
first year.
Listen, we had the first 3-loss team get in this year with Alabama, so I could see 5-loss teams possibly getting in. They say, well, just the SEC schedule is just too daunting. You know, they deserve it. So that'll be hilarious, though.
No,
so
you're right.
Anyway, all right, side note. All right, let's get to these 2 NFL playoff games we got on Sunday. It should be exciting. We'll start with the Patriots at the Broncos. So the Broncos got really, really bad news after beating the Bills last week. You know, so Bo Nix is out for the season with a broken ankle. Happened like on the third last play of the game where he was trying to do a little run to the side and I think try to center the ball up and his ankle got caught underneath him. And it was weird because we were watching the post game. He's doing the interview. He's smiling. Everything's good. And then next thing I know, you got breaking news across the screen that he's out for the year. So that was just crazy. And then the Patriots, coming off a nice win against the Texans. I wouldn't say it was an impressive win. It wasn't classic Drake May this year. Honestly, one of the MVP candidates. He did not play well in Foxborough, but he's got a chance to redeem himself this weekend in Denver. Should be chilly. Can Jarrett Stidham get it done? I guess that's my main question to you. Can he get it done, Scotty?
I have no idea, but I got an interesting question for you.
Sure.
Right? I mean, Jarrett Stidham, total wild card, right?
Yeah.
In this game. But here's my question. Has the pressure sort of shifted because of this Bo Nix thing, right? Like before, if Bo Nix is there, the pressure to me is on the Broncos at that point. They're the
home team.
And the Patriots are the upstart, right? Mm-hmm. They're back. They got the young quarterback. Nobody expected him to be here. They're kind of playing with house money.
Yeah.
Suddenly now, with Stidham being in there instead of Nix, that pressure has shifted over to the Patriots, in my opinion.
Sure.
Now it's on them. If they lose this game, everybody's going to be like, how did you lose a game to Jarrett Stidham, right? You're expected to win the game. And sometimes it can be a little tricky, for a team like the Patriots, who's kind of been the upstart underdogs all year long. And suddenly now you're in that favorites role.
Right.
And you're feeling the pressure like, hey, we should be winning this game.
Right.
And the Broncos, like I say, defense travels. In this case, they'll be at home.
Right.
But defense does travel. And I've been concerned with Drake May in the playoffs. They've kind of snuck by with defense and a couple timely plays here and there. I mean, he has turned the ball over a little too much. It's kind of been an epidemic in the playoffs so far, really, turnovers.
Agreed.
But, yeah, I don't know. I just have a sneaky feeling. Like, I don't know if the Broncos are going to win the game. But hey, we're a gambling show on some level, right?
We are. Well, let's talk about teasers, right? Really quick. So we had a real life teaser happen to us on Sunday. The Broncos started as like a 1.5 point favorite, and now they are a 4.5 point underdog. You have a 5 point teaser built in right there, Scotty. Boom. There you go.
There you go. Okay.
And you didn't even have to do a darn thing.
So what you're telling me is later in the show, you might be getting the devil teaser then.
Well, I'm just telling you, like, that's the way it kind of worked out in this scenario.
I get you. I mean, it's
when the line came.
Sometimes in a one-game scenario too.
Yeah.
I'm just backup quarterbacks.
Right.
For whatever reason, like if they have to be in there for 4, 5, 6 weeks, then you kind of start to see some of their deficiencies. Defenses get to know them, all this stuff, and they know what to take away.
Sure.
Sometimes in a one-game scenario, they can be a little bit dangerous. Sure, I'd love to have Bo Nix. I'm not saying like that. I want Jarrett Stidham in the game.
Right.
And the guy hasn't thrown a pass, and he's Jarrett Stidham, and it's like all this stuff, right? I mean, I get it. But the Broncos are in the AFC Championship game, not just because of Bo Nix. Obviously, quarterback is the most important position on the field.
Correct.
No, hands down. Mm-hmm. But that locker room's going to rally around him. So I just am not going to be surprised in the least if this just comes down to the fourth quarter, and then like a typical NFL playoff game, it comes down to some field goal or special teams play or some 2-minute drive.
Right. Well, I'll remind you of a couple teams in particular. You got the '85 Bears. You've got the 2002, I think it was, New York Giants. You've got the team that won Super Bowl 50, the Denver Broncos, all won with defense. Our friend Trent Dilfer from Fresno. He was a serviceable quarterback. He wasn't a backup quarterback, but he wasn't a marquee quarterback. But that Baltimore Ravens defense was so good that year, that they kind of beat the Giants really themselves. So, and then Super Bowl 50, which was in San Francisco as well, you had Peyton Manning, who was kind of at the end of his career, and that defense, that Denver Broncos defense, was just daunting against the Panthers. So we'll see what happens here. It's going to be interesting for sure. I mean, we might have plays on that game, and like I said, you kind of have a built-in teaser, and then you can double teaser it if you want. You could probably take the Broncos now like 9.5, right?
We made up a new term today. I think the double teaser.
The double teaser. I like it. So anyway, all right, let's get to the second game. So this will be the evening game on Sunday. So the Rams will be visiting the Seahawks for the second time in a month. We all know kind of what happened the first time. The Rams had a 2-touchdown lead in the fourth quarter, and through special teams and just a complete meltdown, the Rams end up losing that game in overtime. So can the Rams avenge their devastating loss a month earlier in Seattle? Scotty, I'll pose it to you first.
It's so hard to kind of break these games down from a non-point spread perspective, Dean, right? Because the Seahawks are favored for a reason. They're at home. They're coming off that dominating performance, against the Niners.
Right.
But when you're looking at it from the point spread perspective, right? And the Rams, I think, are getting a field goal.
They're getting 2.5.
Okay, 2.5. I think that kind of volleyball.
That's what I saw this morning.
Yeah,
2.5.
2.5. So you can see, to me, you could see that the odds makers feel obligated to make the Seahawks the favorite, but they don't feel truly comfortable about giving the Rams 3 because they feel like a bunch of people with real money in Vegas who wise guys who do it for a living would come in on the Rams at that point.
Sure.
To me, these are two very even teams. The way the regular season meetings played out, obviously a tight battle in LA, the Seahawks a couple turnovers, and the Rams sneak one out, and then the Rams kind of giving that game away in Seattle, late in the season.
Yes.
So when you look at that, it's like, okay, how much of a home field edge does Seattle get in the playoffs in this situation? It's going to be pretty big, I will admit. But I bet I would probably even have the Rams maybe power rated slightly better than the Seahawks at this point. I just kind of feel like with Stafford at quarterback, the weapons that they have at receiver, and a solid defense, probably power rated a little better. It's just a case of, to me, the wild card is Sam Darnold. In this game, because you sometimes don't know what you're going to get with Sam Darnold. He's been great at times, but still every now and then he kind of throws in one of those USC, New York Jets type of Sam Darnold game where he turns it over too many times. And so if the Rams can get consistent pressure on him, maybe get their nose in front, put a little game pressure. I love using that term, game pressure, on the Seahawks, who didn't really have to experience that against the Niners, you can maybe force Sam Darnold into a mistake. Maybe he hangs onto the ball a little too long in the pocket, strip sack, something like that, and there's your game-changing play.
Could be. I mean, honestly, I think it comes down to Stafford again. I'll reiterate, I say it all the time, if he doesn't turn the ball over and he manages the game properly, I really like the Rams' chances. The fact that Zach Charbonnet is not going to play in this game really puts a lot of emphasis now on Kenneth Walker III to carry the load for them. They really need to get a ground game going against the Rams, because if the Rams can sit back there and rush the passer and just kind of play pass defense, that's going to be tough for Seattle, because the Rams do play pretty good pass defense when they don't put a lot of guys in the box. So should be interesting. Like I said, I mean, the Rams obviously have a bone to pick after the last game. They obviously feel like they blew it, and they did. You can't have special teams errors, as the Niners knew from Seattle too. You can't give up a kickoff return for a touchdown, and can't have block punts and miss field goals. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in these two games. So it's going to be a lot. So all right, with that being said, let's get into our money plays. All right, guys, at the top of the show, I called my man across from me the teaser king of Fresno, and there is an absolute reason why. Look at all that yellow.
A lot of yellow up there.
Those are two teasers that he hit. Look at that. He went from I think 800 and something. He's at 1,041. He hit that beautiful one with the football on the number 1, and then he hit a basketball for number 2. Scotty, take your lap. Take your lap.
Dean, it's funny. You look at that and you think, wow, look at it. He won like 10 bets. There's so much information there. That's just 2 bets right there.
But 4 teams though.
Hey, anytime you've got yellow all over the board there,
it's a beautiful thing.
It's a great sign on this show.
Beautiful
great sign on this show. So yeah, I'm riding hot on the teasers.
Yep.
Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Let's just keep going with some teasers here.
Here we go.
Let's do it. All right.
They are.
NCAA basketball teaser tonight. My favorite conference, Deanie. The ESPN Plus Spectacular tonight.
The Big West,
Big West games for you. Long Beach State been playing some better basketball recently. They've won 3 in a row. They're going to Cal State Fullerton. You throw out the records when these two Orange County rivals get together, right?
I love it.
Cal State Fullerton lost 2 in a row. Yeah, the Beach has been playing well.
Okay.
I'm going to bump that up to 8.5. Think it'll be a close game.
All right.
Then UC San Diego. Not as confident in this one because sometimes the Tritons can kind of put a great performance together. But UC Davis has been tough at home.
Yeah, this game's in Davis. Yep.
Tough at home this year. They're getting 2.5. I'm going to bump it up to 7.5.
Like it.
I think that's enough of a cushion there to get home with that teaser there. Then a 6-point NFL teaser here. Yeah, it's the candy is just too nice there with the Broncos at plus 5.5.
Look at that.
Being able to bump it up to 11.5. I mean, I can't stay away, Dean. I can't stay away.
Yeah.
It's just I see that.
You're getting a touchdown and a field goal and change to spare.
Home team there. Broncos with a good defense getting 11.5. I mean, how can it lose? How can it lose?
I like it.
And then, as I said, I think the Rams might actually be a slightly better team than the Seahawks. The Seahawks have the home field edge.
Now you're getting a touchdown.
So, yeah, I've got two, big numbers there trying to hit. All right, Australian Open, Dean. First,
I have some plays too.
Hey, this is a Bemis first tennis play of the season here, and we're going to go a little crazy. Two-match parlay here. Mira Andreeva from Russia. She's been playing incredible tennis leading into this tournament. She's been good through the first 2 rounds. Not familiar with her opponent. I will be honest, but I know that head-to-head she's won 3 out of the 4 lifetime. And in the last 3 meetings, they've been straight sets, and they haven't been that close. So she's got to
win by 2 sets.
She's got to win straight sets to win that.
Straight sets, that's correct.
We're going to parlay that together with Karolina Muchova. I knew Dean knew that name, but I would say it anyways.
Man, I'm no good at that.
Versus Magda Linette there. Just Muchova on the money line, and you parlays together, you're going to win 30 for a $37 bet.
Let's go to the men's side.
Men's side. Hey, this should be a good match. I'm looking forward to watching this one. This will be fun because Alex de Minaur is from Australia, and so he's got the home court advantage there. The crowd will be on his side against American Francis Tiafoe. Both these guys play an exciting brand of tennis. De Minaur runs all over the place. Tiafoe is just kind of he's got a personality, right? He's very engaging. He's emotional, and he's got a fun game to watch. De Minaur's got to win this thing in straight sets. For me to lose this bet.
I like that.
I know I got to lay some juice here, but I'm gonna go 35 to win 20 on Tiafoe. I think he'll get a set.
All right, this is how you don't get as much yellow, folks. I did hit the most important 2 on my board, so I did hit a parlay with Mavericks Knicks, the Jazz, and San Antonio, the Jazz, and then I hit it with the 76ers, so that one kind of saved me. I want to point out really quick, number 3, Indiana ending up winning that game by 6. So there you go, there another heartbreaker there, and then UCLA. Not only did they cover, they won outright. So that was a beautiful thing. So we got 8 plays this week, got a little bit of time, so let's go through them. I got Nuggets money line, Rockets money line, Magic money line, and Spurs money line. All 4 favorites tonight, 10 to win 30 roughly. A couple NHL parlays. Give me Hurricanes money line, Stars, the Bruins who have been red hot, and the Canadians. Just kind of, again, 4 favorites, just taking a stab to try to get plus 795, 10 to win 79.55. Give me the Oilers money line, the Wild money line, and the Predators getting 2.5 goals against Ottawa, and yeah, that's a big one. And the Predators are at home too, so I'm really just trying to milk that one and get a W under my belt. 20 to win, 38.95. My basketball parlay, I've got 2 of them tonight. Give me Wisconsin, give me Fairfield, Charleston, and Robert Morris. They're all heavy favorites again. Kind of parlay them all together. I actually get positive money, so 10 to win 27. I got another one with Idaho, New Mexico State, Montana State, St. Thomas of Minnesota, and my man...
That's not in the Virgin Islands?
My man, his alma mater, my man Matt Morse, his UC Santa Barbara Fighting Gauchos on the money line, plus 257. That's 10 to win, 25.72. And now we go to the Australian. I got 2 women's plays to win since it's going to be at the end of the month. Give me Sabalenka to win it. She's the favorite at plus 155, 25 to win, 38.75. And then here's my long shot. Give me Elena Rybakina. Did I say that right or no?
Some people say it that way.
Judges?
Okay, judges are going to say Okay. The more common way I've heard it is Rybakina.
Elena Rybakina to win the Australian Open at 6 to 1, 10 to win 60. And then this is the one I saw this today. I'm like, I got to grab this because these 2 guys are destined to play another final, a Grand Slam final. Give me Jannik Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz coming off their sides of the bracket to reach the final. Again, it's negative money. It's not great.
Serious chalk there. Serious chalk.
$50. 31.42 on the way back.
Not taking a flyer on Djokovic anywhere in here? Or
no jokers. I'm going. Let's get another rematch of these 2. These 2, I think, are they're the Federer and Nadal of today's era. I really like to see those 2 match up in Melbourne. I think everyone would really enjoy that a lot. So,
by the way, speaking of tennis, I don't know how much time we have.
But we got
here.
a minute.
We got a minute.
Time. We got time today.
I know you've got San Joaquin Memorial ties.
I do.
Your son
My son
goes
Joey,
there, right? So former San Joaquin Memorial Memorial star, Ethan Quinn,
Yes.
the tennis player from Fresno. Just wanted to give him a quick shout out.
You want to hear a funny story? My wife taught him at St. Anthony's Elementary.
He's really coming into his own. Probably one of his best major performances so far.
Nice.
He's beat 2 quality players in the first 2 rounds.
I've known him his whole life. Shout out to Mrs. Shiro. Yeah, Ethan's awesome.
Yeah, and
great family too.
Taking on another seeded player, I believe tonight in Australia. And so, yeah, Ethan Quinn, if he wins this, he's in the round of 16 at a major.
Another shout out for San Joaquin Memorial really quick. Alum Max Arfston. Looks like he's going to make the United States national team.
Nice.
Fingers crossed on that one. I know we did some features on him when he was in town over Christmas break. So we're all hoping for Max to make the team. We're excited about the World Cup. All right, Scotty and I will be back on Monday. We'll review everything from the weekend, and we'll have a lot of fun with it. So on behalf of Scott, I'm Dean. This has been the Beam and Dean Show.